Well, it's fall, and so everything's supposed to be about pumpkin spice, and I've always fought against that. I was like, "Oh, quit it." Everybody makes such a big deal. "Ooh, pumpkin spice, everything becomes pumpkin spice." So I got my own little coffee concoction I put together here with it's got cinnamon. It's got oh, I put creatine in here, by the way. Oh, I forgot to stir it. Too late. All the creatine will be sludged up on the bottom now. Oh boy, that's going to be fun when I get to that. Um, anyway, butter. Put butter in it, and just put in pumpkin spice creamer. And I have a feeling pumpkin spice isn't selling all that well this year. At least maybe not so far, because I got this great big box of that. What do they call that? Dairy Delight, the little individual things you peel it back, pour it in, like what you get at restaurants and so on. Pumpkin spice, and that big box of like 80 pods or something crazy like that. $5. So I guess I'm a pumpkin spice guy now. Mhm. Mm, Now I'm gonna have to put up with that for at least 80 days. 79 days now. Okay, I'm Charlie Simons, and this is Do Not Talk. Talk about two things you're never supposed to talk about: politics and religion and sex. No, wait a minute. In the media, that's what garners ratings. Sex sells. That's all I've heard my entire career, including my time as a journalist. Sex sells. And the other thing in the media, if it bleeds, it leads. So, yeah, we're going to talk about sex today. However, then you throw this part in: sex trafficking of children, and all of a sudden, everybody scatters. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to address that. It's a strange thing, and I don't get it. We should all be talking about it. Jesus promised that anybody jacks with these kids, it'd be better for them to have a heavy millstone tied around their neck and to be cast into the sea. He didn't say you should do it to yourself. He said it should be done to you. That's one of the first times I really got dinged by Facebook, which is now ultimately deleted every single one of my pages, and Instagram, owned by Facebook, was when I posted that scripture. It's in Matthew and it's in Luke. If anyone causes any of these young ones to stumble, it would be better for you if you were to have a heavy millstone tied around your neck and to be cast into the sea. That's a crappy way to die if you know anything about diving like I do. First of all, you have to pressurize. You have to do that all the way down, or you will have such excruciating pain in your ears. You don't have time to pressurize when you've been cast into the sea with a heavy millstone tied around your neck. I've read some studies on what it would be like. For example, you always heard about the mafia with the cement shoes, right? Put people's feet in cement in the tub and then throw them into a lake, a river, the ocean, to get rid of the body. And I've read reports on what it's like all the way down as you're descending so fast from the weight and the horrific pain and the way you will eventually die horribly. Jesus knew that, obviously. He created us. So there you go. I want to talk about that, and I want you to please listen and pay attention to my guest, Leslie Sawyer. I've got Leslie Sawyer on the show today from Mountaintop Media, and they have an event coming up. No trafficking our children. We got to talk more about it, please. So before we get to her, though, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. I'm going to ask you to go to my website and especially click on my merch tab where you can get this mug right here. Let's talk about politics and religion. There's a couple of different kinds of mugs. I love this one. This is a 15-ounce mug. Big. I got a big hand. Look at that. 4 fingers I can fit into that handle right there. I love that. I love big mugs. I cannot lie. And them other brothers can't deny. I also have hats like this one, charliesimons.com. And that's the website where you can click on the merch store, shirts, hats. What else I have in there? stuff, just stuff. So if you like shopping, hey, Christmas stuff is already in the stores. So there you go. Do an early Christmas gift. Somebody who actually speaks honestly and openly about things that are plaguing our society. Support my show that way. You get something nice out of it, and I get a little help with getting my show and keeping it going on the air. And I'm on Mountaintop Media too now, by the way, also at twitch.tv and yournews.com and faithandfreedom.com and soon to be on the OBBM network television, this little old show right here. So thank you so much for your support at charliesimons.com. Speaking of support, you can financially support me there too through Venmo, Give, Send, Go. There's like 4 different ways you can contribute and help this ministry, which is what it is. It's all through the Lord. He's the one that blessed me with starting this. He's the one that's kept this going. He's the one that I always try and consider. I pray to before I do each show because I want to speak openly and honestly, and I want the Holy Spirit's guidance, God's Holy Spirit guiding these conversations. And I know sometimes I might get a little mouthy. Yes, I'm a follower of Christ Jesus, but I do get a little mouthy. Something I have to ask for forgiveness for too, especially when I call our governor Hairdo and other even worse names. But then Jesus called his enemies very bad things. Brood of vipers, sons of the devil, whitewashed tombs full of dead men's bones. So I think when I get a little mouthy, I consider, well, so did Jesus. And he turned over tables too. Don't forget that at the temple, which is really, I think, one of the things that was the catalyst. That was the one that said, okay, well, we've talked about killing this guy before, but now we're going to have to. They did it to Charlie Kirk. Didn't they know? So be it. Let's get Leslie Sawyer in the mix now and find out what's going on with No Trafficking Our Kids. It's a big event coming up, and I want to invite you to it. If you're in NorCal, you're going to want to come to this. So let's get to it. Ready? Hit it. What's up, my sister from another mister?
Hello, hello.
Howdy. What's going on at Mountaintop Media?
Oh, you have no idea.
I don't. That's why I asked.
Well, yes. So your show is on there. Our IT guy's working on the graphic to make it clickable and have your banner, but
To make me look better than I do
mountaintopmedia.com.
in real life, you mean?
Why not? So mountaintopmedia.com, you can click straight to Charlie's Rumble page. But yeah, we have been doing a lot. And the thing is, I kind of wear 2 different hats. I run Mountaintop Media, which is a conservative media company for Northern California, but I'm the legislative chair for Moms for Liberty. And so I had to put out a video through Mountaintop calling out Gavin Newsom for passing AB 495. I put out one before he signed it, hey, if you think you're going to become president, you might not want to sign this bill and make yourself public enemy number 1 of all the parents. And I accidentally said governor instead of president. And I know he's termed out and I meant president, but I never get more than, 1,000, maybe 3,000 views. And my daughter wanted to play Barbies. So I just left it and then fixed it in the captions and fixed it in the description. Hey, I know I meant president. I said governor. Who cares? That one got I think it's at 40 or 50,000 views. And I'm like, the one time I mess up, it goes viral, right? And so then after he signed it into law, I made another one and TikTok tried to shut it down. And there's a page on X called Wall Street Apes, and they had screen recorded it before TikTok shut it down, and they put it out on X, and it has almost 700,000 views. And then I was getting calls and text messages, and they were like, hey, I saw you on Snapchat. I never posted it to Snapchat. Hey, I saw you on Telegram. I never posted on Telegram. I don't care where it went out to or how it went out. I care that over 500,000 people heard the message about how dangerous AB 495 was. Well, immediately I started getting messages to the Mountaintop page and in the comments of the video. What can we do? Hey, did we pass this? Did I vote for that? I don't remember voting for that. And so
You
two
didn't
things
vote for it, but it
happened.
got through both houses, and it went to the governor's desk, and that
Right.
horrific, worst governor the state has ever had signed it, has signed it into law. It is law.
Yep. So two
Explain
things
what AB
happened.
495 is in case anybody doesn't know.
I will. I will. So AB 495 is basically a human trafficker's dream bill. It
Mhm.
allows any adult to fill out an affidavit and come in and claim ownership of your child. And then they can enroll your child in another school. They can take your child to get medical treatment. And it relieves liability to any medical facility that treats your child without your consent.
And it prevents the
And
school or the daycare center or the wherever the child was that they can't even tell the parent where the child is.
yes, so 3 different times in the document, it states that no parental notification is required.
Yeah.
So, it's fairly facetious, but when I started getting all these comments and messages, they were like, "Hey, what happened? How did this happen?" So 2 things happened. I realized, 1, we need to give the people a civics lesson, and we need to do better about educating the public on how these things happen and what our government structure looks like. And 2, we had to act. And in Shasta County, we did a walkout during COVID. It actually 46% of our county stayed home, and it is what stopped the statewide COVID vaccine for children.
Oh, thank God.
And so I was joking and I put it in the Moms for Liberty California chat and I said, "Hey, what if we stage another walkout?" And I was expecting people to laugh at me and be like, "Okay, yeah, sure." And everybody was like, "Yes, let's do it." And then I messaged some other parental rights advocacy groups and they said, "Let's do it." And I called the Capitol and went online and got a permit for the Capitol. And they said the West Wing's stairs were not available because they've got the big Christmas tree up. So I planned it to be in the back of the Capitol. And when I talked to the CHP officer, he was like, "I'll stick you on the steps. You guys can have the front of the Capitol." And so everything just has been opening up. And November 19th, we are walking out across the state.
The first time y'all did that, you got labeled by Joe Biden as a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
Mama Bears got listed as a terrorist group, as a
Yep.
subversive anti-government group. Mama Bears by the
Yep.
Democrat Party. You want to know what they're really all about? That tells you everything right there, doesn't it?
Yep. I'm on the Southern Poverty Law Center hate map twice. So,
Insane. That's insane. That's crazy. That's scary as hell. So what do you say to those on the left who say, well, you're taking children out of school, so that's horrible, that's harmful, even though they do the same thing all the time to try and prove their point?
well, the thing is, after we did the walkout in 20, I think it was October of 21, regarding the vaccine, they changed how ADA is applied. So, taking the kids out of school for the day, your school district is still going to be able to recoup the funds. We are not crippling any school district by, you can have the entire district stay home and you are not going to completely shut down or cripple a district, right? And it's not even going to cripple or shut down the state school
So they
system.
get paid by our tax dollars
They get paid
for a
average
day
daily
off.
attendance.
They
Yes.
normally, yes, normally they do.
Yes.
But if you
So
stage a
it
walk,
used to be daily attendance, period. Now it's average daily attendance because they've figured out a way to kind of mitigate damages from things like that. And we're not
writing
the
their
only
own
ones
rules.
that walked out. Other people have walked out.
Yeah.
Um, so they'll still find ways to get the funding, and it's the state. They're in control of the pocketbook until we all elect Sonia Shaw as the new superintendent of public education.
Oops.
Shameless plug right there.
That's
But
a good one.
until we do, they're in charge of the school system anyway. So it's not we're not walking out to cripple them or hurt them financially. We're walking out to send a message to the Capitol that we intend to walk out of schools completely. We intend to move out of the state. We intend to homeschool every one of our kids. We intend to put them in public or private schools. When you're walking out, you're making a bigger statement than keeping your kids home that day. You're letting them know, and the fact that we're doing it all on one day, and that's why it's important that it is all on one day, that this is the amount of people who do not agree with what you're doing. This is the amount of people who are willing to walk away and leave the state or pull their kids from public education. And
I
you have to make that statement.
I feel badly for the single parents. I was raised by a single mom, my brother and me, and there's no way she could have done that because she had to work too.
Right,
Um, I feel badly for single parents, and they don't know where to turn to. They don't want their
right.
kids staying in public education, but they don't know about alternatives. But there's a bunch of them. There are entire
Yes,
groups,
there is.
including churches, that have started schooling and education. Um, you just got where can you go? Is there one place that a parent can look up and see what's available for them in their area?
Not one place, but there are options. And I mean, I completely understand. I'm a single mom of 3, but their dad's still in the picture, so he still has a say. And he doesn't want them to go to a private school. He won't let me pull them out and homeschool them, but he won't also let me leave the state. So I'm stuck here. But my kids are in a really good school district because I'm heavily involved and our school board really cares. Not all parents are that lucky. And so I will still be pulling my kids out that day, even though they're in a good school district, because I need to do it for all the other kids. I need
Yeah,
to do it to send a message. And there
and
are places that parents can go and get the information, and they can create homeschool co ops where they work together. Yeah.
there it is. There it is.
Hmm.
You can start by showing up at school board meetings and talking about such a thing. Maybe even get
Hmm.
up there and speak for a minute and ask instead of talking to the school board. Ask anybody here, tell me a place where I can go so I can start homeschooling my children and get them away from these demons. Can you
Yeah.
imagine the effect that would have if people started showing up at school board meetings and asking that question?
Yeah, I know in Northern California, Home Tribe does a really good job about communicating and creating that network of support. But I know that there's parent groups all over. If you're not part of Informed Parents of California, get in there. There's lots of people that have homeschool contacts in there. So
Or
yeah, it's
Moms for
just
Liberty.
Moms for Liberty. We do not do homeschool education or any of that, but
No,
we
but you
do
know
have
people who
lots of
you
parents. Yes.
you know people
We
who
have
do.
lots of parents that do. Yes.
Yeah, and you could give somebody some direction that way.
Absolutely. So
Even
the
if
thing
your
with the
child is going to a public school and you said you're in a good district, it's still they have to follow the state guided curriculum. And that is full of all kinds of crap and trash and grooming that's going on, especially sexual grooming by the state of California. And
yeah.
it's forced on all public schools, right? Even if you're in a good district.
Well, yes and no. You have districts have some say and they do have local control, and your school board can vote to change policies and make decisions for their districts. And ours has really made efforts to remove some of this stuff. In fact, the high school that my son goes to actually pulled themselves out of the Community Schools Consortium, which is where they're trying to be able to medically bill and provide services, medical services for your child on campus. And they
Without you
sell it,
knowing, without you, the
yes,
parent, knowing.
no knowledge. Yep.
Right.
And they sell it as like, oh, it's just a great funding source for your school. And you could get wash machines for kids who don't have access. And you can get all this other stuff. And that's not what it is. It is turning your kid into a tradable commodity and using them to get money and to get access and to make them dependent on governmental services. It's a whole long, dark, deep rabbit trail and it doesn't lead anywhere good. And we had one of our schools pull out of it. So,
How about the libraries? You know what's in the school libraries at your kids'
yes.
schools?
Yes. So,
See?
the libraries, that's a whole nother, I mean, that's an entire TV show. What is, in school libraries, what is pushed by the California Library Association? What is pushed by the National Library Association? What is pushed by Scholastic, who does the school book fairs all across the country? There is such a huge emphasis on what is being put in front of our kids in
There's it,
literature.
it's pornographic in many books in school libraries, especially for the homosexual community. It's porn.
Right.
It's porn with illustrations and how to do things and
And
description.
because that got pushed back on so hard, they've combated that by creating entire campaigns of like, oh, here's the banned book section. And they've tried to make it fun and cool. And
Exciting, yes.
yes, and really what it is it's desensitizing our kids so that they can be more easily groomed and they can be more easily accessed, and so that they don't question when there's inappropriate sexual advances. What other reason do you have to sexualize children? So, yeah,
I'm
it's
so glad that I don't have to deal with any school age children now with what's going on. I just don't know what I would do. I couldn't stay here, couldn't stay in
right.
California. It's insane. But where do you go anymore? It's happening all over the
It's
place.
spreading. I mean, Colorado is almost as bad. New York is as bad. New Jersey has some of the hardest, toughest fighters that I've ever met in my life. And so there's some pockets of it, just like Shasta County is, fairly conservative. There's pockets of it that are great, but their legislature hates their parents. They hate,
They do.
they
They
hate
hate
the
you.
biblical family, right?
Yep.
And I don't want to say any of the other terms for family. Really, what it is that they hate is the biblical definition of
Good point.
family,
Good point.
right?
That's exactly right. Yeah. So what's your event coming up? Let's talk about that.
So, what we are doing is we have November 19th at the Capitol, West Side Steps, right there by the giant Christmas tree. We will be having from 9 to 2:30 a place for you to gather with your kids. If you have friends who have to work, bring a caravan. Show up in a van full of 8 kids and we'll all be there. We can all work together. But what I want and what we're visioning with this is we are going to have speakers who are going to help inform the public about how stuff like this passes. We're then going to have political leaders who are running who want to come in and hold up our constitutional rights, which includes the 14th Amendment that protects a parent's right to raise their child. Did you have a
Like who?
question?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, like who? Who's going
So
to be there?
I'm in talks with a few of the governmental or the gubernatorial candidates. So I don't want to say for sure until they confirm, but I'm in talks with a few of them. I'm inviting any of them that believe in and want to defend and fight for parental rights. I'm hoping that I will also have E.B. Lynch, who is the
She's running for
lieutenant
lieutenant
running
governor.
for lieutenant governor. She's
Mhm.
amazing. I know that she
Yeah,
stands for parental rights. I'm hoping that I can get Sonia Shaw or somebody from her team up. I know I see your puppy.
there's
And I want to have all of the assemblymen and senators that are running as well, because that's what people don't understand
have you
is our
had him been
assembly.
confirmed? That's who I want to know. Who are the ones who agreed to show up? Is Kevin Kiley going to be there? He should
I
be.
I don't have confirmations yet.
Joe
I'm
Patterson? He should be.
we we just put out the
Shannon
flyer 2
Grove?
days ago.
I'm sure Shannon Grove will be there if she can.
I'm sure she will. She's been at every other event.
Mhm.
And the thing is, I want them there to speak and say good things, but I want names that people haven't heard. I want somebody who's going to see this interview and say, you know what, I should run. I want people
Nice.
because if we get the same olds, I mean, my senator and my assembly person, I want them out because they're conservative and they voted no. But on the first read, my assemblywoman, Heather Hadwick, was a no vote because there was a women's group that was for it and all of us parents were against it. And it took tracking her down to get a straight answer on why she was a no vote, but she should have been no, staunch no from the beginning. And the fact that she wavered at all, I want her out of office. She voted no at the end, but I want her out. She did not stand firm. And our senator, Megan Daly, she was in the suspense committee.
Awful.
And
It's
they
awful.
had, yeah, they had somebody who spoke up, and we had the room filled. We had the entire floor of the swing space filled with parents. And we had the rally the next day, and these parents were in there, and this guy gives this fluffy speech about these are all going in suspense. We appreciate you coming, but suspense is where bills go to die. And so thank you for your time. Keep fighting, but it's most likely going to die. And we stood up and were like, no, like, that's not true. We've seen it happen enough times. Do not take your foot off the gas. I think instead of 4,000 people, we probably would have had 6,000 people at the Capitol the next day. Had people not gone on to social media and been like, it's in suspense, we won, victory. Well, Megan Daly
Hey,
sat there.
by the way, don't please stop saying that, people.
Right.
Just because it gets suspended doesn't mean it's going to go away. All they do is change a couple of words in it, and they bring it right back again as something else
Well, and not even that.
with a
It
fancier
passed right
name.
through. It
Oh, it
passed
did.
right through. It didn't, like, they put it in there, and they actually voted on this one the day that Charlie was shot. So it the whole thing is, there's so much wrong with it. But um Megan Daly, my senator, was sitting there chewing her gum and just sitting there, nodding her head, agreed to move it into suspense. That man had the floor for 5 minutes to try to appease us all and get us all to back off. She could have spoke up. She could have for 30 seconds said, thank you for coming out. Do not take off the gas. Do not let up. Keep fighting. Because you know what happened? When it went to the Senate floor, all we needed was 2 more votes and it would have been dead. 2 votes. And if she would have spoke up and said, don't back off, you haven't won, suspense, it will not die in suspense, this is going to go through. If she would have said any of that, we could have had people pushing harder. We could have had more people show up the next day, and maybe 2 more senators would have changed their mind, and we could have killed that bill. So to me, she is just as complicit. And I was told, she had a stroke. It's not easy for her to formulate words and sentences. She can't communicate. Then she has no business being in office. Right? If you can't do your job, you have no business sitting in that seat. You had a
Right.
stroke, you're communicating just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand and I do have empathy for her, but as my elected representative, she's not doing her job. So
No.
this is what I want to educate people on. And this is why I want to let them know our assembly turns over completely every 2 years. So next year, every assembly member in that building is up for either re-election or putting a new person in. And so
Vote
we need to
Republican,
have,
but don't vote for an incumbent. I'm sick of incumbents. Throw them all out. I mean, with the exception of Shannon Grove and Assemblyman Carl DeMaio, I can't think of anyone that is actually representing us well on the right,
right.
at least. I can't think of anyone
Well,
else.
and you
Can you?
can't just vote Republican.
I do.
You can't.
I
You
know what the
need
other side
to,
stands for.
right, but you need to dig deeper into your ballot, because
Well,
the
we do
thing
that
is,
in
just because
primary.
there's
But we don't, as
yes,
conservatives, we don't even show up at the primary. It's dismal. It's
well, we
ridiculous.
need to show up on the primary.
Yeah,
And
that's next summer.
one of the things that I want to push for, and I've been pushing for the last 2 years, is the people of the church need to step up and they need to vote. We've taken, oh, separation of church means we need to stay out of it. No, it means we don't get to have the government decide our religion for us. It does not mean we stay out of government, because when we stopped being
They don't know because
involved,
they read it. They haven't even read the Constitution.
right,
Nowhere in there does it say separation of church and state. That is a lie from the media and a lie
right,
from the left. It doesn't even say that in our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, anywhere.
right,
So stop saying that for yourself, please, because you sound really ignorant when you do. She's right, though. The only thing that is spoken of is basically the government doesn't get to decide what religion you're going to be, like the Church of England, which is what
Right.
the pilgrims were escaping when they first came here. They didn't want the government establishing a religion. We're a Christian nation, but everybody's
Right.
welcome. Well,
But
what other
60%,
nations like that? I mean, any kind of Islam or Muslim controlled nation or government, do you have the right to practice your own religion there? No, certainly not. Most certainly not.
right.
So we are
We're a
blessed with a
Christian nation.
constitutional republic.
Yes, we are. We're a Christian nation, but 60% of Christian women don't vote. They have pastors who stand up there and preach apathy instead of facts.
Yep.
And they say, we need to stay out of it. I have no problem preaching out of the Bible, but as soon as I get into politics, or churches are the number one protected establishment when it comes to defending their rights. The Supreme Court has backed them time and time and time again. Preachers have every protection that they need to be able to stand up there to their members and say, you need to read your Bible and you need to vote. Because when we stopped being involved in politics, who filled in? Evil filled in. Hollywood filled in. You know, these crazy elites who want to traffic and sexualize our children moved in, right? And so now you've got somebody running for governor who openly says, don't call people pedophiles because you're just being mean and being derogatory to their sexual orientation. I'm sorry, pedophilia is not a sexual orientation. Pedophilia is a mental illness, and you are disturbed and you deserve, you know, the worst of the worst. Like you
A
said, a
millstone.
millstone tied around your neck,
A
right? I
millstone. Glory
mean,
to the Lord.
there is zero excuse for pedophilia, period.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
And that's where I always draw the line on the sand too. You know what? You can do whatever you want with your own stupid adult body, but the moment you start jacking with kids, you got a whole new set of problems with me.
Right.
I'm not going to stand for it, and I don't, and I won't. And that's why I'm so completely active in this kind of things. Rev 17, I was there, and so were you. That was an extraordinary event, and I love what they're doing out there at the Church of Glad Tidings in the Yuba City, Marysville area in Northern California. Look them up, Church of Glad Tidings, Rev 17. It's amazing. Peace of Heaven is what they call it. Peaceofheaven.life, PEACE,
Peace.
Peace
Yeah.
of Heaven.life is the website to see what they're doing. So churches need to step up. You're absolutely right.
Mhm.
And you're right about only 60%, not just women, but men too. Third of the
Yeah.
population claims to be Christian, yet only about 40% are even registered to vote.
Yeah. I went to an event and they were talking about registered gun owners.
Oh, they're
Registered gun
bad too.
owners,
Oh, they're
right?
bad too. Yeah. My
They
fellow 2A
should all,
advocate.
yes, you should all be registered to vote and you should all vote in every election. The primaries, you have no idea how many races are actually won in the primary. And we tried educating our community on that because what was it, 4 years ago now, our superintendent of schools, our sheriff, our district attorney, and our registrar of voters were all decided in the primary because they only had one person running against them and there was no primary to be had. And so all of those races were decided, you know, and then bigger races, if you get 50% plus one, that's decided in the primary, right? And so we need to have people vote every single election. And so that's why it's so important to have people there, and why the people that I have speaking at this event are going to be people who are going to educate us in civics. Because when parents comment on TikTok and comment on X and say, how did this happen? I didn't vote for it. No, but you voted for the people that voted for it. And that's who we
Right.
need to get out of office.
Good point.
Right.
Really good point.
And
Yeah,
so
we have
nothing's
got
going
to
to
get this right.
change. We
We
keep
have
putting the
nothing.
same
Well,
people
I
in
say that too.
office.
Yeah, nothing changes until good people run for office. I say that
Right.
all the time. And we
So
have a
then
chance.
the message to people who don't have kids in school, you know, maybe the message to them is it your time to act? Our government was founded and designed to be where this guy comes off the farm, this guy comes out of his law practice, this guy comes out of his doctor's office. They all serve one term and then they go back to their community. And it is a government by the people, for the people, right? And instead, what we have is these institutionalized establishment swamp rats who want to make it a lifelong, you know, I don't even know a
Nancy
nice word
Pelosi,
for it.
Adam
Right.
Schiff, the
Grift.
mind Scott Wiener,
Grift is probably the nicest word I have for it. It's a lifelong grift where they just make money off the people
Yes.
and they're doing nothing except for causing problems.
Yeah.
And so we need to get all of those types of people out, right? And I'm not saying every politician is bad because there are some people who are fighting very, very hard. And
Really?
there are some people that are great.
Name
What?
some. Name
Name
some.
some? Marjorie Taylor Greene. I
Okay.
love watching her.
I'm talking in
And, you know,
California.
in
I'm talking.
California, it might be unpopular opinion, but I think Doug LaMalfa is doing good work.
I do
I
too.
appreciate Doug. He has been at he's one of those people that has probably been in government too long, but to me, and I will defend him and support him the entire way because he has been at every major life event since I was 7 years old. He judged my Miss Tama County pageant. Like he has been at everything. And when I told him, "Hey, my daughter is a year away from turning 12. I'm not going to have any say in her medical decisions at 12 years old." He was devastated for me and he was like, "I will start looking into that." And I trust that he will. And I trust that he's going to follow through. He tried putting together a law and presented it. He came on Katie and I's show threatening to take away funding for all the states if they did not protect girls' spaces. And he did that before Riley Gaines. He did that. He tried to protect kids before. It never even made it to the floor because he doesn't have the backing by the rest of the cowards in there. But do I think he can stand up and do more? Do I think he can push harder? Absolutely. And I've told him that. I've said, you need somebody like me that's going to stand behind you and say, "You are 7 feet tall, roar," right? Like get up there and be loud and push hard. And I think he could. But I also think he is doing really good work. And I can't think of somebody that's going to do more right now.
Well, your event in November is going to be after the special election of Proposition 50, and right now
Yes.
it looks like the yays have it. We're if Prop 50 passes, we're screwed because that Governor Hairdo is going to take away the districting from the committee, the nonpartisan committee that we voted for.
Right.
He's going to take that away from them, and he's going to draw the lines. He's going to draw the
Well, the
line.
law,
He's going to represent what, where, and what district, and everything's going to be all targeted towards Democrats. And we're done. We're done in
Mhm.
this state, Leslie. And
Well,
it's
and the
costing us
lines have
over
been
$300
driven.
million this special election in a state
Mhm.
that's freaking broke.
Right. So he says we don't have the funding to pay for firefighters yet, waste this money on this election. He says he doesn't have the funding to pay for Prop 36 and get the criminals off the street, yet he has the money to pay for this election. And the lines have been drawn. But every hearing that I went to and everything that's been put out by like Carl DeMaio and other people who are trying to draw attention. I know Shannon Grove asked. Um, the lines are drawn by somebody tied to Planned Parenthood. Why would they have a, vested interest in who's voting in what district?
On that
But
committee.
the other big kind of fallacy that needs to be debunked about Prop 50 while we're on it is this is not in response to Texas redistricting.
No.
I spend a lot of
By the
time
way,
at
it
the
was court
Capitol.
ordered. That wasn't
No,
Trump. They didn't do it because President
no,
Trump told them to. That was court ordered.
they are playing on people's Trump derangement syndrome to pass
Yep.
something they have had planned since the last election.
Oh,
When
yeah.
every single precinct turned 1 to 8% more red than it was before, across the board, every single precinct. None of them went backwards. No precinct turned more blue, but every precinct, even if it was 1%, moved a little bit to the right. Why? Because the insanity, like trying to traffic our children legally, has swung. The pendulum has swung so far left that we are in this insanity territory. We're living in idiocracy. Like it's insane, right? And so
We
every
are we are
single
becoming that we are becoming that movie.
we are. And every single district moved a little bit to the right because they're seeing it. They're waking up and saying, you know, I'm maybe one election cycle from drinking Brondo and wearing Crocs, right? Like that's where we're at. And
Yeah.
so that's what this is in response to. Prop
Well, how do
50
we
is a
get
power
details?
play.
Yes, it is. And no on 50. Please, I implore you. And don't mail in that ballot. Do it in a Dropbox. Take it in personally the day of the first Tuesday of November. Vote in person. It could already be filled out and just turn it in. But just please don't mail it in because that's how they are winning. They're cheating in such dramatic and horrible and effective ways, unfortunately. So no on 50 and take that ballot in person,
Right.
please. And please get registered to vote, registertovote.ca.gov. Although it's, well, today's October 20th. You're watching live. Today's the last day to do it, actually.
Yeah. Well,
Register to
I mean, but we're in
vote.gov.
California. You can do same day voting, same day register.
You
So
can, but do they
you
even
have no
count
reason.
those? Do they even count those ballots?
I
There's
don't
all
know.
kinds of ballots that they don't
That would
even
be a good
consider.
question for your local ROV.
Hmm. Register our voters is what she means, which this is ROV, by the way, in case you didn't know. I never want to assume that everybody knows our little code talk. I never want to assume they
It's
do.
not confusing at all, right?
Yeah, right. So, where do we go to get the information so we fully know and can be on board with what you're doing? This event, this no, what do you call it again?
Um, the AB 495 walkout.
Yeah, good.
So,
Uh,
or our kids are not for sale walkout, either
yeah,
one. I
good.
I like both, but that one gets me kicked off platforms. So AB 495 walkout at AOL.com is the best contact. AB 495 walkout at AOL.com. You can shoot us an email. We'll get you set up. We're going to be putting together a signal group for everybody that's involved. But we need people who want to lead a local meetup. And then we need people who want to be involved at the Capitol because there are people who are not going to be able to make it to the Capitol. And we want every single city, every single area to have their own event so that you can educate your own parents, so that you can
Good,
get your own parents involved.
good.
Every parental rights advocacy group is invited. Everybody who wants to stand to protect the 14th Amendment is invited. So if you want to be part of that, email us at ab495walkout at aol.com. We will be putting up an event on Facebook. We're having a website made. It's all coming. This is all just very, very new.
Look up the local chapter in your county of Moms for Liberty.
Yes,
Just like your
momsforliberty.org.
momsforliberty.org. And a website to give us maybe more information about the actual event at the Capitol building, which I want to be
When
there.
that is up, I will put it on
Okay.
everywhere, but that website's still in development.
Okay. So the best thing to do is just get on board with that email list.
Yep, get on the email list or reach out, like you said, momsforliberty.org. Moms for Liberty California is all on board with it. So every single chapter chair and every single chapter of Moms for Liberty California has the information and can get that to you. So if you click on momsforliberty.org, click on the map, click on California, and find the closest one to you, they will get you the information.
That's amazing. I love it. I love you. I love what you're doing. I just think
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm a fan. Leslie Sawyer is just an extraordinary person. Doing great work. Mountaintopmedia.com.
Yep. That's where
Mountaintop
you can
Media.
find Charlie's show and
Uh-huh.
all the other updates. Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you, Leslie Sawyer. Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.
Absolutely. And by the way, I forgot to ask you to like this show. Would you please hit that like button? There it is. I don't know how it works. but it works with the algorithm thing. And since Facebook deleted all of my pages, I've been struggling getting people to actually view shows. So you got to share them. Please share these shows on your social media platform so you can get kicked off too. No, I'm kidding. You wouldn't get kicked off with this show. If you were, I wouldn't tell you, please share this show. So please share it because I don't want you to go through what I've had to go through with Meta. It's supposed to be kinder, gentler towards conservatives. That's a lie. That's a lie. My cousin just had his Facebook page deleted, and he goes, I don't even know what I did. Violated some community standard because he talked about God. He's a strong believer. So I'm guaranteeing you that's what it was. Maybe he quoted that scripture like I did of Jesus saying what's going to happen or what should happen to anybody who jacks with kids. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. But most importantly, America bless God.